Okay, first off, I apologize for recording my screen like this, but I just want to get this over with. So, ever since the shitty casino update, all of the field of view mods have apparently broken, which sucks, but there actually is a workaround. First thing you're going to need to do is install the extended camera settings mod. It does have two requirements. One is ScriptHook 5, and the other one is this Microsoft Visual Pack. So these are very basic things to install. All the links will be in the description. They all have their own tutorials on the website, so it's all really basic stuff. But to get the extended camera settings mod, all you have to do, first off, you're going to open it up with WinRAR or 7-Zip, whatever you use, some sort of program like that. And you're going to see these files, the README, which is really irrelevant here because I'm going to be explaining everything for it. So you have these two, you have an INI and an ASI file. Open up the example file and move this to the desktop. Okay, do not put this into your Grand Theft Auto directory. It will crash the game. Do not put that in there. Okay, next, open up the Grand Theft Auto 5 directory. This is the file with your exe and everything. Just in case you have trouble finding it, go to your Steam, find Grand Theft Auto 5 in here. Okay, so go to Grand Theft Auto 5, hit Properties, and go to Local Files, and then hit Browse Local Files. That'll take you straight to the file that you need. Now, I do recommend, if you like modding and stuff, to just make a shortcut for it on your desktop so that you can just get to it really easily. Okay, so you're here. So all you're going to do is drag the .asi and .ini files right into the directory. Alright, next thing, just exit out and boot up the game, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so here we are in-game. As you can see, the field of view does not look great. So, what do? Well, it's kind of finicky, but the first step, after you install the mod, pause, go to Settings, make sure you're in the Camera section, and you're going to notice that this mod actually does not change the normal field of view, okay? What you need to do is go down to aiming field of view, and also it has a lot of settings. There's all kinds of great settings in here, so you might want to just mess around and, put things to how you like it. But I'm going to go ahead and go straight to the first person aiming field of view. Now you can turn this up, down, it doesn't matter what you do now. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it all the way up to demonstrate what we're trying to achieve. But the reason that we're doing this is because once you change any settings in there and then save it, it will create a XML file in the Grand Theft Auto 5 directory, which we're going to need to exit the game and edit that file to make sure that the field of view is fixed. So now when I aim, you can see that the field of view is actually a lot better. It's actually pretty good where it is right now. So, but we don't want it when we're aiming, we want it all the time, like when we're just walking around like this. So what you need to do now is hold Control and hit B. So you'll notice that it says Extended Camera Settings, Settings Saved. So that's Control B. Alright, now once you've done that, exit the game, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, now that we've done that, go back to your Grand Theft Auto 5 directory, and you will notice a new file has appeared called camerapresets.xml. You're going to have to right-click this, select it, right-click, and hit Edit. It'll bring up this notepad, and you're going to notice that it's, if you changed more settings, it's going to have a lot more information. It doesn't matter. Just look for this. Okay, so the way that this works is, so cam preset, the settings, then model name player 1, that's basically you. First person pedcam, that means the first person camera. You're going to notice because we changed the aiming field of view, this is the aiming field of view. Right now it's set to 72. Okay, so let's minimize this for a second and go back to that example file. Again, do not put this into your directory. It's going to screw everything up. Just look around. You're going to look for it. It's going to say first person pedcam. And you're going to notice the very first one says preset type float, name FOV45. Copy this. Okay, copy that. We're going to go back to the real XML file that is inside of our directory. Underneath first person pedcam, it doesn't need to be above or under the aiming FOV, it just needs to be somewhere in between these two first person pedcams. So I'm going to hit enter to create a new line and paste it in. It doesn't need to be, you don't have to put spaces and put it in line, that it'll fix itself, but just make sure it's in between these two lines. So this is basically your standard field of view. So what you're going to do is change this 45 to whatever field of view you want. So I want 85 degrees. Actually, I think I put it to 75 is what I do. It really doesn't matter. Just put it to whatever you want. And then boot up the game again. Make sure that file is saved. And let's boot up the game. Okay, here we are in game. And you may notice that it's the same. Well, there's still a little bit of fiddling around we have to do. If you notice that we aim, it's back to normal. So what you actually have to do is go to the settings, pause the game, go to settings, go to camera, and you'll notice that our field of view, on foot field of view, is already maxed out. Believe it or not, you have to turn it down. Turn it all the way down, exit, and there you go. Now your field of view is to whatever you set it to. The aiming field of view is going to stay at default. Now, everything's fine. Everything's working. You can go ahead and hit Control B to save. I don't know if that's really necessary. The XML file is where it should be. So there you go. Now your field of view is perfectly set. The aiming field of view, at least for me, has to stay the same. And maybe this is where you guys can help me out a little bit. I actually don't know why, but if you want to change your aiming field of view, there's a bit of a glitch. So, aiming field of view. So now you see how it's already maxed out. I'm actually going to turn it back down to the default. And I'm going to go into settings again. And I'm going to turn it all the way up, because I personally would like the aiming field of view and the standard field of view to be pretty similar. But now you can see it's perfect. This is pretty much how I want it. Of course, aiming down sights is, I'm fine with that. But this is great, This is exactly how it should be. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and use the trainer real quick to increase my wanted level a little bit. I have God mode enabled just for the sake of the demonstration. I'm going to wait for the police to get here. I'm going to show you what happens when you have your aiming field of view like this, and I don't quite know how to fix this. Alright, the police are coming at me. I'm aiming. I'm shooting. Once I take damage, there's going to be an issue. Okay, maybe not. Hold on a second. Let me turn off God mode, because I think that's what's messing it up. Okay, God mode is off. And here's what happens when you take damage. Yeah, so the aiming field of view actually gets screwed up when you take damage. The normal field of view will stay the same. What you have to do is... Well, I'm wasted right now, so give me a sec. Okay, so like I was saying, when you die, your field of view will be reset. I don't know what to do about the aiming field of view. All I can say is that if it happens, just put it back to default. I've tried to mess with the XML file. I've tried many things to fix this issue, but every time I change the aiming field of view even a little bit, if you take damage, it gets all screwed up. It zooms in really far. So just keep it at 50%, and you're just going to have to deal with the aiming field of view being pretty low, but at least the general field of view is fixed. So anyway, that's how to increase your basic on-foot field of view with extended camera settings. Sorry, this is what my channel's usually about.